Having ended last season with their highest ever placing, the Dons were confident of repeating their success this time round. And things looked good until Sam Hammam dropped the bombshell of Fashionu's transfer to Aston Villa in a multi-million-pound deal. Was it an offer too good for Joe Kinnear to refuse?
Yeah, I think so. I think the timing was right. It was right for us and right for John. John has been a legend at the club, gave us fantastic service. I just think that every player has a price at the right time, and John was desperate to go out and try his best at another Premier League club. We decided not to stand in his way, and I thought for 1.3.5 million it was a fantastic bit of business. It enabled me to get in a younger striker in John Goodman and Kenny Cunningham.
The move seemed to unsettle the side. John Scales was open about his desire for a move, but he was still at the heart of the defence for the opening fixture against Coventry.
Vinnie Jones is up and under. Drizovic has to come. Barton's header! Bravely cleared by Coventry's Sean Flynn. Showing the space to operate in. Nice little turn. Can he get his shot in? Plays it back to Castledine! And Wimbledon take the lead 10 minutes into the second half. Stuart Castledine didn't have the cleanest strike, but enough for a goal. To Holdsworth, stopped by Grizovic, off the line. Holdsworth can't yet open his accounts. Coventry, including Boost! The big man comes up from the back and scores a spectacular equaliser. Checking his watch, blows his whistle, and it's 1-1.
Not the flying start the crazy gang wanted, but a worthwhile away point to take back down the M1, courtesy of midfielder Stuart Castledine. 3 days later, it was Ipswich at home. The Dons had always found it hard to overcome the men from Suffolk, and this one was no different.
2 or 3 Dons players making a run forward. Holdsworth! An excellent goal from Dean Holdsworth, and that'll put a few more bob on his transfer market value. That was a goal of distinction. The touch was good, the strike was even better. Causing problems, but beaten in the air. And again, header, I think it was Holdsworth that got there just before Blissett. Dangerous cross in. In fact, the header was from Blissett. Vinnie Jones. Direct ball forward. Holdsworth keeps his balance well. Draws the goalkeeper, only just off target. He's been a real handful. Having a great night, Dean Holdsworth. This is a rare Ipswich attack. Kiwomya. It's Gerald's mistake, and it's punished by Milton. Ipswich back in it. It's a very dangerous player, strong tackle by Elkins out. And again. Holds just away again. Can he score the winner? Went alone, not this time. Did well, he had the pace. He could have maybe squared it to Clark, decided to be greedy.
Another point, this time thanks to Dean Holdsworth's 19-minute goal. There were rumours at the time about his future with the club, but were they true or the invention of the tabloid press?
It was more or less something they made up. Dino actually come and saw me, and we spoke about a lengthy contract. And we discussed the situation, and we both thrashed out a contract that will keep Dino here for 5 years. But obviously he was aware that bigger clubs were chasing him, and like all players, they go through a stage where they believe that they're ready for the big time, as far as getting to much bigger clubs than ourselves. And they'd seen Scalzi go, and he'd seen John Fashanu go, and he felt that his future was maybe with another club. But to be fair, he's worked extremely hard this year. We haven't had the best out of Dino this year, but that's nothing to do with the fact that he wanted to get away. He's had a horrendous injury, back injury, and when we got 24 goals out of him last season, this year I think he's contributed about 5 or 6. And you know, we'll see the best of Dino next season. This season it's been a hard season for him.
2 straight defeats against Sheffield Wednesday at home and Manchester United away saw the Dons in the Premiership basement, with 2 points from 4 games at the month end. But September started better. Promoted Leicester City came to Selhurst Park in even worse shape than the Dons and went away worse off still.
Nick Harford's pulled wide. Wimbledon really wants him in the centre. It's Noddy down and too far away from Marcus Gale. Leicester really struggling to come to terms in the Premiership. Potts cross. Roberts missed it, but not the second time. A goal to Lowe. Quickly on the case. Vinnie Jones telling everybody to pack that area as he hauls one in from the touchline. Harford there! And Harford has equalised for Wimbledon. Thanks Vinnie Jones for the long throw, which eventually ended up on his head. Nodded on at the near post, and Harford came in with what he's done for over a decade. It's a hit from Seegers. Walter beaten by the goalkeeper. Still the big men forward for the Dons. Bart. Gale. Barton again. Harford's onside. It's behind the Leicester defence, and it's put into his own goal by Jimmy Willis. There's one thing scoring an own goal, and another thing scoring an own goal just seconds before half-time.
The first win of the season for Joe and the lads.
Well, it's always important to get your first win under your belt, because it's just as easy to get in a winning habit as it is in a losing habit. And as we've seen this season with what's happened at Norwich, I think early part of the season they were something like 12, 13 points ahead of us, and we've seen what sort of slide they got themselves in. So yeah, it is very important. The sooner you get your first win, the better. It gives everybody a buzz, confidence is sky high, and then you really got something to build on. You start talking about, you know, let's get the winning run going now, and we've done that on 2 or 3 occasions this year at the right time.
The first clash of the season with the landlords yielded only a disappointing 0-0 draw and little in the way of entertainment for the fans. By now, John Scales had left for Liverpool, but Joe's scouts had sniffed out Alan Reeves, who, bought for £200,000 from Rochdale, soon settled into the back four. And Big Alan, known to his teammates as Vic, made his presence felt in the London derby game against QPR, grabbing the only goal of the game. Reeves' goal and the 3 points it won lifted Wimbledon to a much more respectable 13th place at the end of September. But October brought us down to earth with a bump. Defeats at the hands of both Tottenham and Arsenal came in the space of just 10 days. Goals from Tallboys and Jones were the only consolation. Another reverse came at Nottingham Forest. It was the first appearance in a Don's jersey of Joe Kinnear's £1 million signing Ifeanyi Cocu, but there was no debut goal for the Nigerian. It was left to Marcus Gale to reply to Forest 3 in the 81st minute.
Hardley got the better of Pearce. 3 in the middle for Wimbledon. Gale. It's 3-1.
If anyone's deserved the goal, Martin, for Wimbledon, it's been Marcus Gale. He's rocked really.
The The miserable month was capped by a heavy 3-0 defeat at Anfield and humiliating eviction from the Coca-Cola Cup at the hands of Palace, and ended with the Dons lying 17th. October's only bright spark was saved for the end. In front of a crowd of 8,200, Ifeanyi Cocu set out to wreak revenge on the club that had decided that he was surplus to requirements. Ikoku immediately doubled his tally on the trip to Leeds, but that apart, the news from Elland Road was not good. That's 1/5 of November we shall be very happy to forget. The home game against Aston Villa was the 6th in the 3-month-old season in which the Dons would concede 3 goals. But this time, there was a little more to the story.
On-2 with Houghton. Atkinson again, and I think naturally took a fingertip save from Sagers. Nice 1-2 from Villa, and I'm sure the Dons keeper got a touch to that. Going in strongly, deservedly winning the ball. Now Clark creates an opening, and Bosnich saw it very late. He didn't make the most convincing of saves from Andy Clark. He threw Paul McGrath, beat him, which isn't easy to do. Bosnich couldn't hold on to it. Last-ditch tackle saved the day for Villa. Bosnich flaps it away. Vinnie Jones takes responsibility, drives it in. And that's a penalty. Ikuku taken down by Egiog. David Ellery, the referee, is going to book Egiog. Ray Houghton saying the penalty is punishment enough. Villa thought there may have been an offside, but a clumsy challenge by the England under-21 defender gives the Dons a penalty. Barton takes a short run up and gives Wimbledon the lead. 8 minutes gone. Bosnich getting in a bit of a tangle. Maybe he should have concentrated on trying to save the spot kick. Saunders, now Atkinson. Atkinson keeps going, strong player. Lovely 1-2. Great save. Sagers twice, and almost a third time. And Villa still can't beat the Dons keeper or his rock-solid defence. Great save in the first instance. Good reflexes to stop the second. And a combination of blue shirts and a bad miss by Houghton kept the score down. Townsend. York. Parker waiting in the 6-yard box, and he slots it home. And Parker makes it 1-1. Harry Parker knew exactly where the ball was going to come. The Dons tried to play offside, it didn't work. The score's a level. Houghton. Parker again. It's a shooting opportunity for him. Tries to kill it around Sagers, who can't hold it. And Dean Saunders was right on hand. Poor old Hans Sagers thought he'd done enough to keep the ball out. But it fell, fortunately, for Dean Saunders. Barton. Purposeful start to the second half from Wimbledon. Clark goes in, takes a deflection. Oh, and a great save by Bosnich. Somehow kept Ardley out. Danger's not over yet. Was that handball? Ellery says no, the referee. And Ikuku drills it in, and all Wimbledon get from that is a corner kick. Save by Bosnich to keep Ardley out. As the ball was cleared, Wimbledon had a penalty appeal. Skims off the surface, the arms go up. Saunders keeps his head down and scores and ignores the Dons' appeals for offside. Dean Saunders has made it 3-1 to Aston Villa. His second goal of the game. And when the ball was headed down, the linesman's flag stayed down, and Saunders kept his head down and scored. Save. Andy Clark has gone close on a number of occasions. So he's eager to set Wimbledon on the attack. Maybe 3-1 down. The game is certainly far from over. Jones. Now, Elkins puts in the cross, and Neil Ardley gets the goal. The game has come alive. Good football from Wimbledon. Triangle play. Vinnie Jones feeding Elkins, chips it back in, and a powerful header from Neil Ardley. He's lost it. Lastich tackles all over the place and a chip over the bar. And this is an excellent Premiership match. Mark Bosnich is beginning to lose his cool. He had to go in where the studs were flying to keep Aston Villa in the game. Reeves clears. Vinnie Jones, crowd demanding the shot. Oh, crashes off the bar. And Andy Clark hits it into the crowd. That would have been one of the goals of Vinnie Jones's career. That was 35 yards and the goalkeeper was beaten. Barton. Deserved the equaliser. Jones has hit one from this distance before. He tries it again. This time it's in. It wasn't quite the strike of a few minutes ago, but it had a better end result. Almost the same position, 35 yards out. Came off the Villa defender and wrong-footed Bosnich. Jones is everywhere, he's loving this, lapping it up. Reeves. Now Akuku, Clark in the centre. Other players joining in. Akuku with a shot and Bosnich has to make another smart save. Cut in from the wing and the goalkeeper had no room for error. Barton. Move. Cooper tries to find some space. Leonardson has, and he scored a dramatic winner. Right on the whistle. Wimbledon 4, Aston Villa 3. A game which Wimbledon looked to have thrown away early on, and what a great comeback by the Crazy Gang. Whistles all around. And there we go, one of the matches of the season. Wimbledon come back from 3-1 down to beat Ron Atkinson's team 4-3.
A memorable occasion, and for more reasons than the 7 goals.
Yeah, I think we were 3-1 down at one stage, and you know, sadly it'll be remembered as Ron Atkinson's last match, because at one stage, this is the crazy thing about football, at one stage we were 3-1 down and the Villa supporters were chanting there's only one Ron Atkinson, and then we made a remarkable recovery, and I think Leonardson popped up in the 90th minute to seal victory for us and make it 4-3. Very exciting game, as they normally are against Villa. And of course, the next morning Ron was sacked, and so that'll be remembered on two fronts. A great result for us, and Ron Atkinson's last match for Aston Villa.
High-flying Newcastle were next to try their luck at the Wimbledon stall. An enormous 14,000 crowd greeted Wimbledon at Selhurst Park, but there was little they or Keegan could do about the rampant Dons.
Eager to get the ball deep into the Newcastle half of the field. Now here's Clark, he's got a chance, he scored! What a great start for Wimbledon! Only a minute of the game gone, and they have silenced the massive travelling Geordie contingent. Clark scored a goal which, well, Cole or Beardsley would have been proud of. Took the ball on and drilled it home. The Belgian couldn't beat the Dutchman. To get a lot of everything, chips the ball inside, it works against Newcastle's favour. Cuckoo. Great move this by the Dons. Clark puts it in, far post! Now it's 2-0. Efan Cuckoo have gone the whole length of the field to get on the end of that one. Played the ball initially to Clark, made the run into the area. Then Hardson hit the post, and a Cuckoo swept it in. 2-0 to Wimbledon. The football world will be shocked by this one. Only 27 minutes gone. Efan Cuckoo silencing those Newcastle fans. Ball drops, beautiful volley from Peter Beardsley. Brings Newcastle back into it. 29 minutes gone, 2 minutes after Wimbledon took a 2-0 lead. Peter Beardsley brings Newcastle back in with a stunning volley. That was a goal befitting an international class player. Still Jokinir remains unmoved by it all. Sharp stuff from Newcastle. Beardsley goes in, he's swept it in there, and is that over the line? It is! Paul Kitson claiming the goal. I think in reality he knew very little about it. Peter Beardsley quite right, taking the ball, it's bravely beat, and Sagers to the ball, and Kitson getting a foot to it. And all of a sudden it's 2-2. Former Newcastle player right in the thick of the action there. Harford. Mark again, he's been a real menace to Newcastle. Goalkeeper can't pick that one up. Anywhere will do. And Harden pumps in the cross. Barton's header in, and it's 3-2 to the Dons. Nick Harford scores against his former club. That will mean an awful lot to Wimbledon's veteran striker. He never quite hit it off at St James's Park. He reminded them that he's still around in top-flight football. Powering his way in between the defenders to give the Dons a one-goal advantage. Wimbledon in no hurry at all to take this corner kick. Serdacek comes through and he's lost it. This could be a fourth. The referee actually gets in the way of Barton. Was arguably Mr. Don the best Newcastle defender there. He blocked Warren Barton's clear goal-scoring opportunity. Barton had a clear shot at goal here until the referee obstructed him, really. The referee will be having nightmares about that one. There. Down. This is Hottinger. Chips it in. Sagers! That's a match-winning save. Brilliant save by Hans Sagers. Point-blank stuff, really. This is as good as you get to the goalkeeper's view of what happened. It was headed in by Fox just underneath the crossbar, and that was a stunning save. Tackle in this kind of game. Akuku takes on Peacock, draws the keeper, and Serdacek joins in the goalkeeping party. We've seen excellent saves now at both ends of the field. And Akuku can't quite believe that the Newcastle number one got something on that. Albert curls, and for one moment looked as though it was going in. Powerful shot from Philippe Albert. Sagers didn't have a good view of the shot when it came in, but it being on target could have been a Newcastle equaliser. Do for Wimbledon, and that's it. They pulled off a famous victory. When Hans Sagers arguably won the game for Wimbledon, and Newcastle's Pavel Serdacek was beaten 3 times, 3-2 to the Dons.
Always do exceptionally well, beat them the season before last 4-2 at home, and it was nice to beat them again 3-2. There's certain clubs that you always feel that you've got a realistic chance about, and Newcastle came down and played with 3 centre-halves that day, and felt that was the best way. I spoke to Kevin Keegan afterwards. He felt that was the best way to beat us, and we soon put pay to their sweeper system by sticking in 3 goals. Great match, great entertainment, and thoroughly deserved the victory, but I was pleased with the overall performance. Smashing result for us.
Sadly, the same form was lacking against Manchester City, and the month ended with the Dons in 16th place, a miserable position which a 3-0 beating from leaders Blackburn did nothing to improve. But Coventry had less success on the Selhurst turf and were easily ploughed under by Joe's Mend.
It's the header, and the ball on the floor as well. Here's Leonardson! And Leonardson gives Wimbledon a 4th-minute lead. Brunt of the work taken on by Harford, and somehow he squeezed it through the grasp of Agrizovic. Coventry haven't looked comfortable when the ball's been played in the air. But comfortable full stop. That's drilled in by Harford. Nick Harford certainly knows his way to goal. He was left all alone, took his time, picked his spot, wham bam, 2-0. Borrows. Flynn. Sager stays on his line and the referee sees fit to give Coventry a penalty. He judged that Love had been pushed in the back here by Kenny Cunningham. So it's going to be Coventry's number 15, Paul Cook, to take the penalty. And Sagers makes a brilliant save. Well, Wimbledon will say there was some justice in that save by Hans Sagers. Chose right, saved it with his legs, still 2-0. Bounces nicely for Akuku. Can he get the ball in his stride? Draws the goalkeeper, but a last-ditch tackle by Bush to put him off. Well, to get the ball into his stride, the two defenders just got in his way. Rizovic stays on his line, leaves it to his defenders to deal with. Now Harford, oh! That deserved a goal, the way he took it right on his toe end and bravely hit it the first time when he could have tried to control it. Morgan for Coventry. He's received a great deal of help and love. Williams. There's a save for Sagers. Takes something special to beat him from that distance. Harford. Making a run to the centre as Holdsworth plays it wide. Kuku. Now the big men are forward for Wimbledon. If they can get the ball in the box. Leonardson skims across to Grinovic's goal. Hard work done by Holdsworth. Leonardson wasn't too far away. That's it. Finishes 2-0 to Wimbledon. And a great penalty save on the night from Hans Sagers, which could well have been the turning point in the game. And he keeps a clean sheet.
Another easy ride looked likely against Ipswich, shaping up as candidates for relegation. But they weren't quite ready to lie down and die yet.
Oh, what a great start! Dean Holdsworth scores after only 2 minutes. Beautiful volley. Would you believe only his first goal since August? Is the cry, and it's in the goal, never mind in the box. Simon Milton brings Ipswich down back into the game. Holdsworth. Kimball. Here's an in for Akuku, gets a little flick on, there's Bart, tremendous save by Forrest. White shirts just milling in and around the Ipswich town area. Warren Barton to deliver. Oh, great goal! John Goodman's first league goal of the season from Wimbledon. It's a pretty simple affair, really. It scored from about 3 yards out. Has to take the corner. Bounces awkwardly, and it's put away by Sedgley. 2-2.
It was a happy Christmas for the Dons. Boxing Day was spent at Southampton, where Dino had a couple of presents for the fans.
Dodd shot. Oh dear! It's gone right through Hans Segers somehow. Well, I don't know why Dodd's celebrating. It was a fluke. Christopher Grobbelaar. Oh, completely lost it. Kuku puts it back in, and it's punishment time. Holdsworth scores. His range, 6 yards out, no mistake. Christopher Grobbelaar again, and he's lost it. And Mick Harford scores Wimbledon's second goal. Just minutes to go to half-time, it's 2-1. Looking for it again, it's just peeled off. Oh, that was special. That most certainly was special. He's tripped, got to be a penalty. He's inside the area, as Warren Barton points out. As you can see, it wasn't the smartest of touches from there for the Cuckoo, and it caught Heaney, and Heaney caught him. So, hits his time. Not this time though. Dean Holdsworth makes Southampton pay.
There was victory too over West Ham a couple of days later. This time it was England under-21 international Peter Fear who netted for the Dons. And the last day of the year added another away point with a 1-1 draw at Chelsea. Ifeanyi Cocu, the man to celebrate this time. 12th position at the end of the year was evidence of steady progress since the season's wobbly start. And there was another step forward in the first game of '95. Under Joe Royle, Everton had themselves improved tremendously, but they met a Dons side that had clearly made some good resolutions for the new year.
Warren Barton fighting and winning that particular fight as well. Clark's cross. Bell wants it down. Is it in? Well, it's finished off by Mick Harford. A half-hearted appeal for a penalty from Everton. But arguably, Robbie Earle had put the ball in before Harford got that final touch to the ball. Nevertheless, 1-0 with 3 minutes gone. Massive throw from Jones. Gained the flick on. Harford causing problems and getting the Dons a corner kick. Everton being out-muscled. Whipped at the near post. Southall's lost it. And the cross almost went straight in. I think there's a final touch. Mick Harford claiming the goal, coming in and sweeping it in at the far post. Harford winning everything in the air against Dave Watson. A cry for handball. The Cuckoo keeps going. This could be a third. Crashes against the side netting. And Cuckoo trying to beat Southall at the near post. Hinchcliffe. Nice little 1-2. Hinchcliffe has a strong left foot. Barton gets in with the interception. Best period of Everton attacking that we've seen. Now Jackson. There's right out. 2-1. 16 minutes gone. Everton's leading scorer Paul Rideout tucks them back into the game. To be fair, it's been all Wimbledon now. Have looked comfortable against the struggling Everton side. Now they can finish it off for Andy Clark. stay out. Clark looked as though he'd done everything correctly. Southall had closed his angles and just hoped for the best. Anywhere will do for Everton. Injustice in the side has got an equaliser. This could be justice, it could be a third. A Cuckoo! Oh dear me. Ethan Cuckoo must wish the ground would swallow him up after that miss. Warren Barton maybe should have shot, passed it on to a Cuckoo, who just lost his footing in a rut. Jackson. Ferguson wins the header. Great save by Sagers. It bounced away from Stuart Barlow at a vital moment. A shot from Graham Stewart, and before Barlow could get there, the ball was whipped away from him. Jones.
Twin strike for Mick Harford to give yet more justification to the manager's shrewd investment.
Well, I tried to get Mick the season before that, the season before last. He's a player that I'd always admired, and I thought again it's a case of dabbling in the market and getting the right player for the right price. And for £50,000, he's been a sensational buy. He's got a tremendous attitude, great technician, good pro, and he's weighed in, I think, with 8 or 9 goals this season. So. He's done a tremendous amount for us this year.
An away trip to Norwich gave Wimbledon the chance to make it a win double over the Canaries, a chance Ikoku seized with both hands, again proving a point or 3 to the people who'd let him go.
Now Goodman throws the goalkeeper. John Goodman wasn't too far away. For Norwich as the Wimbledon defenders appeal for a handball. Chasing the equaliser. Robbie Earle has been a live wire. Here he goes again, Earle into the danger area. Can he get a shot in? Squares the ball and somehow off the line. Great play by Earle, another thrusting run. Put in by Goodman and cleared by the fullback. Jones for once doesn't go for the long throw. Running up. An under from Clark. And a header from Reeves! Alan Reeves scores a rare goal. And a goal against the club who discarded him as a youngster. That'll mean an awful lot to him as he equalises for the Dons. Jones listens to Kimball. Kimball's cross! A Cuckoo's head! And for the second time this season, Ethan Cuckoo scores against the club who sold him to Wimbledon.
Ikoku was on the score sheet again at St James's Park, but this time it wasn't enough, and the Chaps went down to a 2-1 defeat. Going into February, the Dons were back in the top 10, 35 points so far from 25 games. They'd dearly have liked to add 3 to that tally against Leeds at Selhurst Park and get a little revenge for the 3-1 defeat in Yorkshire, but the score sheet stayed blank and the points were shared. Revenge was also on the menu when the Dons went to Aston Villa. They defeated Villa in a 7-goal thriller at Selhurst Park. Now the number 7 was to figure again, but it certainly wasn't lucky for Joe and the Chaps.
They had a really outstanding day themselves, but we couldn't take nothing out of that. And if you see the goals, it was finishing of the highest quality. But nevertheless, it was nothing short of a disaster for us in that area. And I kept the players in the change room for an hour and a half after that match to discuss things. And that, I assure you, will never ever happen at this club ever again. And I was totally embarrassed about the whole situation. It was the worst moment I can remember having in football since I've been in it. I've been in it nearly 30 years now, and that was probably one of the worst moments that I can remember. But we put it behind us. I'm not one that holds it. I'm one of those hands-on managers that says what he's got to say and then just kick it into touch. At the end of the day, it was just 3 points that we lost, and even though I knew it was there and I used it as a rod, I used it in my next 2 or 3 team talks to let them know that, you know, we don't want that again, or that's what can happen when you don't approach the game in the right manner, when you don't apply yourself in the best possible manner. But it's probably the only time I can honestly say that that's happened to me in the 4 years I've been here.
The lads picked themselves up and trooped north to Blackburn. It was an unproductive trip, but with another goal for Ikoku to show for it. Better luck was waiting round the corner, this time at White Hart Lane. It was the end of a 4-week spell without a win and produced a strike from Ikoku which Joe Kinnear later selected to receive his personal Goal of the Season award.
Give it away. Peter Fear. Ikoku. Oh, great goal, Ikoku. A very confident finish from a young man who's bang in form for Wimbledon at the moment.
The time of the Wimbledon goal, 38 minutes, 36 seconds. The goal scorer, number 9, Ikoku.
Anderson saunters across to take this corner as he allows some of his defensive colleagues to join the attack. Under there, great save by Sagers. Brilliant one-handed save by the Dons number 1. Somehow keep the ball out. He saw it late as well. Anderton. Ronnie Rosenthal. Anything can happen when he gets the ball. Touched it to the far post. Sagers has come for it. And Klinsmann dives in to bring Spurs back into the game. The equaliser coming 4 minutes into the second half. Ikoku shows the Spurs defence a trick or two. He's running through a brick wall, quite literally. They're bouncing off him. What a great goal! What a goal of high individual standard by Ikoku. Wimbledon striker far outshining Jurgen Klinsmann, showing typical British grit. Jerry Francis is quite evidently stunned by Ikoku's goal. Tottenham Hotspur had to come from behind. Calderwood. Now Barnby. Frustrating for Tottenham on their own ground to be outshone by Wimbledon. Oh, Klinsmann, what a save! A world-class striker was stopped by a world-class save. That has to be one of the saves of the season. And Klinsmann, who's played against the best in the world, stopped by an absolute cracker. Spurs have the feeling there's no way past Hans Sagers today. Had to do better than that. Darren Anderson this time stretching the Dons keeper. By his standards today, that was pretty routine for Hans Sagers. It slips through. Now Barton, who's he got in the centre? Brave defensive header, and it's the last header of a famous Wimbledon victory.
Today's attendance, 27,258, 27,258. We thank you all for coming today. Reminding you the next first team game here at White Hart Lane is Spurs versus Ipswich Town on Wednesday the 8th of March, a 7:45 kick-off. Our ticket office in Park Lane is opening shortly for sale of tickets for that game. And for our
Effin, well done today. It must be nice to come to a stadium like this against a team bang in form and record a good victory.
Yeah, it is. In the last 2 years, I've come in and played quite well last year with Norwich. We won 3-1, and we managed to do the same thing again today. With 2 good performances.
And it ends a rather barren spell in the Premiership for Wimbledon.
Yeah, it does. We had a really good Christmas. Managed to pick up most of the points, and since then, involvement in the FA Cup, I don't think it's detracted from performances. I think we just slipped a bit, and it was important to today. We managed to get at least a point. We managed to take the 3, so we're happy.
The crazy gang spirit has become something of a myth in recent years, but how have you found the spirit since moving from Norwich?
Well, it's still there, I think from the owner down, and the chairman, all the players, right down to all the apprentices and, the girls who work at the football club at the training ground. And if that's something that you can use to your advantage, and other clubs are going to be a bit wary of it, you've got to use it as much as you can.
A 2-0 defeat at Anfield in the 5th round replay ended the Dons FA Cup campaign, and in the league things were no better. March began with a 3-1 home beating from QPR, the consolation goal coming from Dino. And with champions Manchester United visiting just 3 days later, Joe had little time to pick the lads up for the challenge. 18,224, the largest crowd of the season, saw the chaps lose 1-0, a result that put us out of the top 10 for only the 2nd time in the season. But yet again, the slide was stopped before it got out of hand, and the crazy gang were up for their venture north to Hillsborough.
Simpson gives the ball away to Warren Barton. So over the head of Gale, falls to Kimball, drills it in. And had Pressman beaten, couldn't hit the goal. Great cross again from Barton. And had it fallen to an attacker, that would have been 1-0 to the Dons. Still in play. Vinnie Jones carries on, puts in the cross, and difficult chance in retrospect for Marcus Gale. He's going to backpedal to get the header on the ball. Again, it's a curler. Missed from 2 yards out by Holdsworth. I was saying this, he did extremely well to get into that position. Drills it in. Hughes comes in. Sheffield Wednesday with virtually everybody back defending. But it's a cross shot. Goes to Reeves and finished by Reeves. And that goal, on the whole of the 63 minutes that we've been playing, is fully deserved to Wimbledon. Pressman's almost lost it. He has to make a brave second save from Neil Ardley. He struggled first of all with Alkin's shot, but I suppose redeemed himself.
A 3rd goal for Alan Reeves, and for the team a valuable 3 away points. Palace were the next game, and this time Selhurst Park was home for the Dons. Wimbledon had the luxury of seeing their landlords under the pressure of relegation worries, whilst they began to think of chasing European glory.
Wished he was involved in. Chris Armstrong putting in from the wing. Plays it in there, and timely interception from Warren Barton. Having a tremendous season, Warren Barton. Makes a run into the area. Sullivan's lost it. He gets it back very bravely, and Eric Young went in with the studs flying there, and we have a 20-man melee. The angry words, and brave Dowie to go nose to nose and eyeball to eyeball with Vinnie Jones. Not so many people do that. This is how it all happened. Sullivan came for the ball. It was behind him. He bravely went down to keep it off the line. Eric Young, well, we'll claim he went for the ball. Safely the goalkeeper's grasp, and Eric Young the only man to get a yellow card. intercepts it. He's shooting distance for Warren Barton. Just chips it in this time though. Vinnie Jones flicks it back on, and John Goodman, very well marked by Young, couldn't turn it in. He was right on the end of a pretty neat Wimbledon set piece, flicked in by Barton, flicked on by Jones. Young stuck to his task. Marcus Gale happy to settle for the corner. Still no goals in this Selhurst Park derby. Seven in the eyes of the goalkeeper. Warren Barton teases Martin, who's lost it completely, and Vinnie Jones powers the ball into the net. It was always going to be difficult for the goalkeeper to deal with. And Nigel Martin ducked out of a challenge with Jones, who came in, elbows, head, and everything flying to get the vital touch. Vinny's first goal in the league in 4 months, and he galloped in there to get something onto the ball. Holdsworth. Now Barton. Has to get around 4 defenders, but he has them backtracking. A weaker side of Martin, but he clears it with his right foot. Dowie plays it straight back into the danger area. Flick on. Holdsworth's in if he can keep his feet. Shaw did just enough to unbalance Dean Holdsworth. Neat little flick from Barton. Sent Holdsworth away. Shaw's presence was enough. Of the game gone now. Holdsworth's buzzing. Shaw's got a real handful. Drilled in. Cleared by Young. And as far as Jones! He scored a couple of spectacular goals from that distance this season. He's going for his second goal of the game. Just for his kind of distance, and he hit it pretty precisely. Still another chance. They need to win this game desperately to try and avoid relegation. Warren Barton surges forward. Squares the ball. Marcus Gale, that's it! Wimbledon have as good as won the derby. As Palace were beginning to attack and put some pressure on the Dons' defence, Warren Barton carried the ball about 30 yards deep into the Palace half of the field before squaring it to Gale, who finished off very succinctly. Lovely ball from Barton. Nice finish from Marcus Gale. Jones is lauding this now. Having a chat with the fans before he prepares to launch one. Wimbledon going for a third. Nobody pulling out of a tackle at all, and that Warren Barton almost spun in. And the Dons are really enjoying this. Warren Barton is having an excellent game. Watch. Vinnie Jones doesn't want it to end, he's really enjoying things. Holdsworth! Well, really looked to cap a fine performance with a goal. It always had to be a snapshot as the ball bounced off a very pretty bumpy pitch to it. Came down, no time to think, had to react quickly. And he just skied it. To Martin, desperate to get the ball upfield. The game is beyond Crystal Palace. It finishes 2-0 to Wimbledon.
Does that landlord-tenant thing, does that wind up the players as much as it does the supporters?
Yeah, I think so, because remember they beat us in the Cup. And we were very bitterly disappointed. We didn't play well that night, and Chris Armstrong scored late on in the game, and we got beat 1-0. So we were determined to put that right, and we were determined to pick up 3 points, and we won 2-0 that day, but we won comfortably. But above all, yeah, there is rivalry. There's rivalry between both sets of supporters, and it's a derby that we badly wanted to win, and we got the result that we thoroughly deserved. We picked up 4 points off them over the season. And yeah, I think we always want to be top dogs when it comes to us and Crystal Palace, and we've proven 9 times out of 10 that we are.
Manchester City were the next victims to enter the Wimbledon lair, and they suffered the same fate as many before them. Andy Thorne notching his first goal since returning home on a free transfer from Palace in October '94.
Then Hardson blocked, Jones blocked, and Coton comes off his line to save bravely. Feet of Goodman. Manchester City defending well then, protecting the goalkeeper. Keith Curl, Wimbledon player of course. Peter Beardsley loves to get the ball on his right foot and have a shot. Now on his left foot, drills it in. Sullivan had a good line of fire then, good view of it, and excellent hands from the young Dons keeper. Chess and controls and volleys. That would have been some spectacular goal had his intentions paid dividends. Controlled it well, hit it on the volley first time brilliantly. And Vinnie Jones. That to be agreed. Hank Vincent throw in. That lets the Manchester City winger know all about it as well. Holds it in. Coton stays on his line and gets a punch to it before Holdsworth can close it. Walsh runs into trouble. It's a free kick to Manchester City, but it was a very timely punch from Coton which kept the scores level. Wimbledon happy to make ground. Marcus Gale flicking the ball up the top. Now Holdsworth trying to find a shooting position. Maybe he has now. Squares the ball and selfishness to Jones. Great run by Holdsworth again. Vinnie Jones, it's supported from midfield. Not quite the right connection. All the big men forward. Plenty of muscle for Wimbledon in there. Vinnie Jones knows it down a second time, a third time, and finished off by Andy Thorne. His first goal on his return to Selhurst Park with Wimbledon, and he was about the 5th or 6th player to have a stab at it. It's as good as a corner, this throw. Manchester City aren't dealing with them at all. Holdsworth. But it takes a deflection, and that's going to be Elkin's goal. Gary Elkins quite simply thundered that one into the roof of the net. He may have taken a slight deflection along the way. It's probably going to go in anyway. And it's 2-0 with a quarter of an hour to go. Manchester City just seem to have lost heart. The referee brings to an end Wimbledon's third successive victory without conceding a goal, and they're still on the European trail.
That victory lifted Wimbledon to 8th place, and with 3 straight wins in the Premiership, the Dons began to look unstoppable.
We've set ourselves ambitions here, the same as any other club. We're no different. People may occasionally look down their noses at us and think we're small fry. I certainly don't think so. I think that I can get a team together, or I have done, or we always have done, got a good side together to take on the best. And I always felt that we were capable of pushing ourselves into the top 6 and getting into Europe. Had we kept the players that we sold, would have obviously helped our cause. But it's been well documented that when it comes to that criteria, it's very difficult to keep them because of the finances we need to come in. I would dearly love to have a regular crowd of 18 to 20,000 every week, and that would enable us to keep all our players. But we haven't, and therefore people have to go. So that makes the task that much harder of getting into Europe. I have no qualms about staying in the Premier League, and never have done. Irrespective of what people might think, that this is our last season, and when we sell players it's always our last season. Well, you know, we like a challenge here. You know, we've got the D'Artagnan and the 3 Musketeers attitude, one for one and all for all, and it's seen us in good stead.
The Musketeers were next in action at Filbert Street on the 1st of April. Leicester City had fulfilled all their early season promise and looked certes for the drop, but anyone who thought Mark McGee's outfit would be a pushover was an April fool, and it was only in the 90th minute that Wimbledon made certain of the points.
Mark Robbins gives Leicester a 13th minute lead. Warren Barton with the corner, which is half cleared by Leicester. Kimball plays it back to Barton. Keen to get the ball into the area. Barton's cross. It's swept home by John Goodman. It's a neat little build-up that, which led to Goodman putting the ball home. 1-1. Playing the better football of the two sides. Spread. Leonhardt has a chance. It goes through Paul's legs. There were a couple of players that could have hit that then. As the ball dropped, Leonhardt took on the responsibility of finishing it off. Dangerous at set piece, that has to be said. Players break off. Oh, it just creeps in. I think it was Jimmy Willis, the number 4, who got the final touch to the corner. It's the only time they have looked like scoring from the corners and set pieces. They hit the bar, and Lawrence finishes it up. 3 Leicester goals have all come from corner kicks. Topsy-turvy game. You have 5 minutes to go. Poole miskicks dangerously. There's a chance. It's 3-3. Less than a minute after Leicester take the lead, Leonhardt pulls the score level. It all came following a terrible clearance by the goalkeeper. Leonhardt punished him further off his foot and off the post. Leicester fans milling out of the ground, they're going down. It's been a miserable old afternoon for them, it may not be over yet. And Goodman compounds the punishment for the 90th minute. We have to say now this has to be the winner. 4-3.
Goodman's last-minute strike was his 3rd for the club, and it was he who came to the rescue against Chelsea. The points were shared in a 1-1 draw, But who could have predicted that with defeats at West Ham and against Southampton, and 0-0 draws with Everton, Liverpool and Arsenal, Goodman's strike would be the Dons' last in 7.5 hours of football. When Nottingham Forest came to Selhurst for the last game of the season, they were already assured of third spot and a place in European football. And the points they shared in a 2-2 draw were just as irrelevant for the Dons. For them, the prize had slipped sadly out of reach this time.
10 minutes left in the first half. Holdsworth! Oh, it's through the goalkeeper! Wimbledon are level. A bit of luck for Dean Holdsworth. He hasn't had much this season. Back to Kimball again. Oh, Leonardson's free! He's got another chance. Is that handball? Linesman is flagging. Penalty against Pearce. Penalty for Wimbledon. Here goes Holdsworth. And it's 2-1 Wimbledon. Holdsworth got them both. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Stone turns away from Kimball. Gemmell back to Stone again. Good set-up play from Forrest. Oh! It's a goal! Steve Stone via the goalkeeper's hand. 2-2.
I think it's been a mixed season, but at the end of the day, I think we finished in the top 10 again, which is getting increasingly harder with us, considering the amount of injuries. I thought at one stage that we were there bang on, maybe getting the 6th place. But I think, like, when you look at the teams that are struggling down behind us, you know, your Manchester Cities, your Evertons, Crystal Palace are on the brink of getting relegated, Norwich, who were 12, 13 points ahead of us, lying 5th or 6th in the league. We've shown real determination and real character to come back from the brink as we was at one stage and really push ourselves in. It was nice to be talking at the end of a season about getting into Europe than talking about staying up. And that's a great credit to this club and a great credit to the players. And you know, we had a lot of pluses throughout the year as far as the players are concerned, like Warren Barton's progress into the England setup. Vinny has had an outstanding season. Young players that are bought, giving them time to develop. Alan Reeves, the kids coming through. Peter Fear can only get better. Neil Ardley, who'd suffered with injuries week in, week out. The unsung heroes, I suppose, Chris Perry, who's come in and done a wonderful job against all the odds. The experienced people of Mickey Harford, Andy Thorne, who's given that as experience when we've needed it. We've sadly missed Robbie Earl, and Dean Holdsworth for most of the season. They're our 2 top goal scorers from last year. And I felt if those 2 were still in the side and at their best and played how they did last season, I'd be talking about us being in Europe. But it's not to be this year, but that doesn't say that we won't do it next season. I sincerely hope that with all those players back, playing at their best, that we'll finish in the top 6 again next season.